Hello and welcome to a training on how to set up a brand new employee master screen. First thing you'll notice is I am in CHEMS, but I am in the test server so that I'm not manipulating any of my actual data. You'll need to make sure that you are actually in prod 1 or prod 2 when you're doing this for real. So you say click on Setup, Labor, Master, and that'll bring up this master screen. And then you simply just go through and you enter in the information as identified by each of the box titles. So for employee ID, you should have that information already. And then name and their address. And then when you become to crew or department, this is where you take your entire crew and you have the option to identify them as smaller crews. So we have a bridge crew, we have our students, we have a hot mix crew. However it is that you want to identify your smaller clusters of employees. CHEMS does have the option to run different reports based on crew. So consistency is better. If you're going to list something as a student, make sure you don't spell it incorrectly one time or your reports won't come out accurate. Hire date. If you don't happen to know it, you can contact your HR department and you can get it. If for some reason you have a confusion on what any particular box is for, you can hit the F1 key. And that will give you a small information box and it'll tell you what is expected of you for that particular box. In this instance, it wants you to list the date they were hired by the county. And it gives you a little bit more information that perhaps this isn't the same date they were hired by the highway department, but by the county in general. So you can close that out. Longevity date. This is also something that not every county uses. It doesn't necessarily have to match with your longevity date. If, say, someone was hired as a seasonal and didn't become full-time until a year later, their hire date and their longevity date may not match. I'm going to leave it empty because our department doesn't use them. Job title. This does not necessarily match your crew/department box. Our HR department issues job titles for each employee, so that's the ones that we put in here. Shop employee, this is where you would indicate yes or no. If you put yes, that means the employee is subject to shop overhead rates, which can appear on invoices in the event that your county is one that issues those. So make sure that if they are in fact a shop employee subject to those additional percentages that you would put yes, but this one is a no. Seniority, again, we also do not use seniority in our county, so here I'm going to put a no, but if your county is one that does do seniority, make sure that you put a yes in there, and CHEMS will help you run reports based on seniority dates. Phone numbers. It automatically inserts the dashes. I try to put them in there and it gives me an alert that I shouldn't be trying. So you can hit enter or tab, move to the next one. Longevity factor. This is a box that we do not use. However, when you hit the F1 key to find out what's supposed to go in there, it just talks about that this is an employee's longevity factor. You can ignore the spot here where it says it was created for one specific county because there are a couple of counties that do use it. It's not widely used, but they use it for varying percentages. If you were a county that wanted to look into this, wanted to know more about it, I would definitely contact John Gray. You shouldn't begin using this box unless you know exactly what it is that you're tending to do and making sure that that box will help you reach that goal. Hitting radio number, this is two-way radios. We have a list of two-way radios and every employee has a number. You can assign that information in here. Moving on to active, yes or no. Obviously, this is a brand new employee, so I want them to be active. However, if it were an existing employee leaving employment, you could turn that to no and they would no longer appear on your list of active employees. And should that employee leave for whatever reason, you'd also want to list their termination date here. Moving down to notes, this is where we keep alternate information, things we want to know at a glance. If somebody got a promotion in the middle of the year, or if they wanted us to know that their home phone number is their cell phone and their alternate number is their wife's number, something of that nature, we can put that information in here. Moving over to class, this is where you would want to, you can't use the F2 function in here, but you can go into setup, labor, class, and that's where you can hit F2 and you can look up all of the different classes that are available for your employees. In this particular instance, I know I want this employee to fall in class 3. Or 13, I'm sorry. So I'm going to hit that and I'm just going to hit enter twice and that'll fill in all of that information. This checkbox right here, I'm going to go back and check it because this means default. This means that this is the rate I want this employee to be paid at every time I enter them. It is possible to have multiple rates for employees, and in that case, it's attached to their master screen, which means I can pay them at this rate if I wanted to, but I have to specifically enter that information. This information checked as default will fill in automatically. It helps to make sure that you're not accidentally paying an employee at a rate in which they're not supposed to be paid. Moving down here to steps. This is a part of CHEMS that we do not use. Say an employee was at pay class 7, step 3, you would have the option to give them a class and a step, but we don't use that. So I would definitely give John Gray a call for more information on that should your county want to utilize that option. Once you are all done entering all of the information and you're satisfied that it looks correct, go ahead and hit F9 and that will save the master screen. If you wanted to double check it, you can go ahead and hit the F2 button and search for that employee, or you can enter the employee number. And as you can tell, everything showed up the way I intended it to, so that employee is now good to go and you can enter their information.